A miracle will meet you tonight. Listen closely. Tonic is not ordinary. This moment, this breath, this very second is charged with the electricity of the unseen. You have not stumbled across this message by coincidence. Something divine has called you here, because a miracle is already on its way to you. The hour you have prayed for, cried over, and waited in silence for is finally near. But to receive what's coming, you must listen with your spirit, not just your ears. This isn't about religion or ritual. It's about your awareness, your imagination, and your readiness to receive what has already been created for you in the invisible. You are not waiting on God. God is waiting on you to awaken to what's already done. Tonight, a miracle is scheduled to meet you, not next week, not someday, but tonight. And the only thing you must do is believe differently, feel differently, and surrender completely, because once you shift inwardly, everything outside will obey. Prepare yourself. The unseen is about to become seen. The miracle begins with your state of consciousness. The miracle that will meet you tonight is not coming from the outside. It is not descending from the clouds, nor is it hidden behind some distant door that you must find the key to. The miracle begins with your state of consciousness. That means your present awareness. Your beliefs, your assumptions, your emotional tone is what determines what shows up in your life, not effort, not struggle, not even time. Everything begins and ends within the realm of consciousness. If you are waiting for something to change before you believe it's possible, you will wait forever. You must assume the change has already occurred before you see it. This is the sacred paradox. It is the reason why so many strive and labor and cry out, yet feel unheard. They are waiting for the miracle to arrive before they believe, but the truth is the miracle arrives because you believe. The shift must first happen inside you. You don't receive what you want, you receive what you are. Your inner state is a magnet, drawing on you that which matches its vibration. So tonight, your work is not to plead for a breakthrough, but to step into the consciousness of someone who already has it. If you can see yourself already in possession of the thing you long for, if you can feel its reality, taste its joy, and inhabit that outcome emotionally, then you have already created the miracle. This inner alignment is the birthplace of the supernatural. The moment you become the version of yourself who has already received, your world will begin to rearrange. People, events, timing, and situations will conform to match your inner assumption. You will start to hear news that aligns with your desire. You will meet people who carry answers. Doors that were locked will swing open, not because of force, but because your vibration changed. And this change in your state of consciousness is not dependent on anything outside of you. It is a choice made in the stillness of your soul. You could be sitting in a prison cell, a hospital bed, or a lonely room, and still move into the consciousness of abundance, healing, freedom, and love. You could be completely without resources, but if you feel rich within, the outer riches will be drawn to you. You don't need anything to change to feel the shift. You need only to feel the shift for everything to change. That is why tonight is so powerful, because if you allow yourself to cross the threshold in your mind, if you become the one who already has what you've been praying for, then the miracle must appear, not because you earned it, but because your world is a mirror reflecting your internal state. Your assumption is the law. The world doesn't argue with your belief, it expresses it. You are always projecting onto the screen of life the contents of your imagination and the tone of your feeling. So if you change the inner film, the outer picture has no choice but to follow. This is why some people receive quickly and others wait for years. It's not about favoritism or fate, it's about states. The one who sees herself as healthy, even while symptoms persist, has activated a new state. The one who walks as though the door is already open, even while rejection surrounds him, has stepped into a higher realm. These are not illusions, they are creations in process. And tonight, your job is to select the state that matches your desired outcome and dwell in it. Not visit it occasionally, not wish for it while believing in its absence, but live in it, breathe in it, feel its reality deeply and repeatedly until it becomes the new normal within. That's where the miracle begins. Do not underestimate the power of one night, one decision, one shift in awareness. Time is not the deciding factor, alignment is. If you align with the frequency of the outcome, you collapse time and bring the unseen into form. The miracle is not late. It has always been here, waiting for your agreement. An agreement doesn't happen through words. It happens through state. You make Say you believe, but if your emotional atmosphere is one of fear, lack, or waiting, you have not yet entered the consciousness required. There is no shame in this, only an invitation to shift, to come higher, to close the gap between who you are being and what you are asking for, and the truth is. You don't need to do this through willpower. You only need to surrender to the version of you who already knows it's done. What would you feel like if the call came through, if the healing manifested, if the relationship restored, if the finances appeared? Let that feeling fill you now, not later. That is the gate, that is the portal, that is the power that calls the miracle into your present experience. The greatest secret is that you can step into that state at any moment, and the universe must respond. It has no choice. It is law. Life does not give you what you want. It gives you who you are being, and the fastest way to change who you're being is to shift what you're imagining and what you're feeling. If you want something different, imagine differently, feel differently. Walk through your house tonight as though the miracle has already touched your life. Speak with the tone of someone who just received good news. Rest your head tonight with the inner assurance that everything is already settled in your favor. These are not mental tricks. They are spiritual technologies. They change the field around you. They tune your spirit to the right frequency, and on that frequency, your miracle is already done. So don't look to the world to tell you what's true. Don't check your bank account, your doctor's report, or your inbox to decide what's possible. Look within. What are you assuming? What are you imagining? What are you feeling? Because that is your world tomorrow. Miracle isn't found in striving, it's found in choosing, and you can choose differently right now. You can awaken from the nightmare of lack, sickness, loneliness, or despair and enter the beautiful dream of love, wholeness, provision, and joy. No one is stopping you. Nothing is holding you back. The moment you claim it within, it will show up without. That's how powerful you are. That's how close the miracle truly is. So tonight, stop waiting, stop doubting, stop postponing your joy. The miracle is here, waiting on your permission. Open the door by stepping into the consciousness of the one who already has it. That version of you already exists. Your job is to become her, to become him. And as you do, you will see what others miss, receive what others wait for, and live what others only dream about. The miracle meets the one who believes it is already here. So step into that belief. And the miracle must obey. Tonight, your state of consciousness becomes your gateway. Choose wisely, choose boldly, choose now. Imagination, the womb where miracles are conceived. If you are to receive the miracle that is destined to meet you tonight, you must understand this eternal truth. Your imagination is the sacred womb where all miracles are conceived. Not one thing will appear in your life until it is first planted and nurtured in the garden of your mind. You have been taught to believe that imagination is a child's game, a soft substitute for action or logic. But this belief hath hidden the truth that imagination is the very source of creation. Everything you see, everything you experience, every result you witness was once nothing but an invisible image inside someone's consciousness, and so it is with you. The miracle you desire has no choice but to manifest once it is felt as real within the womb of your inner being. You must come to see your imagination as the divine faculty through which all things are birthed. It is not entertainment, it is creation. What you vividly imagine and accept as real becomes your experience, for your outer world is a delayed reflection of your inner visions. What you hold in your mind with emotion becomes a blueprint your reality will construct without question. The law does not care whether what you imagine is wanted or unwanted. It only brings into form what you persistently imagine with belief. So tonight you are not just hoping for a miracle, you are creating it. You are shaping it in the unseen, forming its details, its beauty, its timing through the power of your mental imagery, and what you imagine with feeling is as real to the universe as what you can touch. The moment you see it within and feel it as done, the creative process is already in motion. There is no force outside of you that can delay what you have truly accepted within. And here is where the mystery becomes your power. Your imagination is not limited by circumstance. It is not confined by your past or shaped by statistics. It answers only to what you believe to be true, and belief is nothing more than a practiced thought mixed with emotion. So if you have imagined failure repeatedly, it has become a belief and turned itself into reality. But tonight, you are invited to reverse the pattern, to see something new, to feel something greater, to believe in what your eyes cannot yet behold. That is where miracles are born, not in wishing, but in imagining with conviction. If you want to be healed, you must see yourself whole within. If you long for love, you must feel cherished before anyone shows up. If you are ready for financial freedom, you must carry the inner posture of someone who already walks in abundance. You must dwell in the outcome before the outcome becomes your dwelling, and this happens not by effort, but by imagination. Your imagination is the secret place where you meet your future and bring it into your now. It is the sacred chamber where the invisible becomes real. Every time you close your eyes and see yourself living in the fulfillment of your desires, you are doing spiritual surgery. You are rewriting the script, breaking the old patterns, and forming new realities. And the more you dwell in that vision, the more magnetic your spirit becomes. People will be drawn to you without understanding why. Opportunities will find you. Doors will open not by your force, but by your frequency. Because you no longer just hope for the miracle. You are the miracle in motion. But discipline is this. You must return to the vision daily. You must nurture it with your faith, feed it with your joy, water it with your gratitude. If you doubt it one moment and believe it the next, the seed cannot take root. You must persist in the assumption that what you have imagined is already done. That is the way, that is the code, that is the hidden power behind all manifestation. And understand this, your imagination will always be filled by something. If you don't fill it intentionally with faith and vision, it will be hijacked by fear, doubt, and the narratives of the world. You must take responsibility for what you are imagining, because your future is shaped there. You cannot allow the news, your surroundings, or your old stories to determine what pictures live in your mind. You must choose. You must protect the vision. You must occupy the inner world with the images of what you desire until they become more real to you than the current facts, for the facts are temporary, but the vision is eternal. You must not confuse what is real with what is visible. The invisible is more real than the seen, because it is the root of all things, so do not be discouraged by what hasn't happened yet. Instead, be encouraged that you have the power to make it happen by seeing it and feeling it now, and let your imagination be bold. Don't shrink your vision to match your current circumstances. Stretch your mind to the highest version of yourself and live there inwardly. Feel it in your body, speak from that version, walk with that confidence, move with that clarity, and the miracle must respond, because the law is simple, as within, so without. What you dwell on in imagination becomes what you dwell in life. This is not a game, this is not magic, this is the divine process of creation, and it's been given to you freely. Every night before you sleep, you are choosing what seeds to plant. Most people replay their fears, rehearse their failures, and water their worries, but you are choosing something higher. Tonight you will go to bed having seen your miracle, not as a wish, but as a memory. You will feel the joy of having it, not someday, but now. And as you do, your imagination will go to work, drawing everything necessary into alignment. You will be nudged to make the right move, say the right thing, go the right place, without even trying. Because your imagination has already set the path. That's how powerful it is. It is your internal compass, your invisible GPS. It is the language your spirit speaks with God. So don't dismiss it. Don't take it lightly. Honor it. Use it. It is the womb of your miracle. Everything you are asking for must first be born there. Tonight, begin again. See it differently. Close your eyes and walk in the house you dreamed of. Smile with the love you desire. Dance with the joy of answered prayer. Let your mind be the holy place where the future is formed. This is your sacred work. The miracle is not waiting to be discovered, it is waiting to be imagined, and when you hold that vision with unwavering belief, the universe will bend to your inner world. Your imagination is not fantasy, it is prophecy, it is your direct access to the reality you are about to live. So tonight, give it permission to create something glorious. Your miracle is already alive within you. It only needs your eyes to see it and your heart to believe it, and once that happens, not even time can stop it. Feeling is the signal that calls the miracle. There is a secret so simple, so close to the core of creation, that most overlook it, yet it is the very power that activates the unseen and summons the miraculous into form. That secret is feeling, not mere thought, not dry repetition of affirmations, not mechanical prayer, but alive, burning, sincere feeling. feeling is the signal. It is the vibration you are sending to life. It is the frequency your entire being is tuned to, and it is what calls the miracle directly to your doorstep. Your mind may say 1,000 words, but unless those words are drenched in feeling, they have no creative power. It is not what you say that shapes your world. It is what you feel to be true that determines the pattern your life follows. And herein lies the power and the responsibility. Tonight, if you can feel your miracle as though it has already happened, it must come to you. It cannot stay away. The universe is not deaf, it is responsive, perfectly attuned to the signal of your inner world. Your feeling is not invisible to the higher realms. It is the command, the broadcast, the declaration of your true belief. And so many cry out in frustration because they declare one thing with their lips but harbor another within their hearts. They say, "I believe," but inwardly they are saturated with fear, anxiety, and contradiction. The miracle cannot land in such a storm. It needs stillness, clarity, and the emotional equivalent of the outcome you desire. So tonight, let the noise fade, let logic rest, go beyond facts, enter the holy territory of feeling, and allow yourself to dwell in the state where the miracle is already complete. Ask yourself, how would I feel right now if it were done, if the door opened, if the breakthrough came, if the answer was yes? Do not just think it, feel it. Let that feeling arise and consume every cell of your body. That is the creative act. That is the sacred moment. That is the exact frequency that becomes magnetic to the miracle you seek. And here's the deeper truth. You are always feeling something, every second. You are in a state, you may not be aware of it, but it is there a silent tone, a background emotion that either aligns with your desire or cancels it. If you want a new reality, you must cultivate a new emotional home. You cannot keep living in the feeling of lack, despair, or unworthiness. Expect abundance, joy, or love to flourish. The soil does not permit contradiction. You will not grow roses in a bed of thorns. You must uproot the old feelings and plant new ones intentionally. And this does not require years of effort. It requires a moment of decision. You must become ruthless with what you allow yourself to feel, not because you want to suppress emotions, but because you understand the power they carry. You are not a victim of your feelings, you are their master. You are the gardener, and tonight, it's time to plant what you want to live in. So close your eyes and go. There now, breathe slowly, drop the weight of your current conditions, and feel. What would it be like to have everything you prayed for, to live in the answered version of your life? What does your face look like in that moment? What's in your heart? How does your body move? What sound escapes your lips? Is it laughter, praise, peace? Let that feeling rise and fill you like light. Let it wash away every trace of doubt, every residue of past pain. And do not worry if nothing has changed outside yet. The miracle is already forming inside. You are changing your vibration, and the vibration is creating new outcomes. You are no longer hoping, you are becoming, and becoming is the highest act of faith. The person who feels it is already theirs is the person who walks in miracles, not because they are special, but because they understand the principle. You must live in the feeling of the wish fulfilled before the wish becomes flesh. This is the sacred law. The unseen responds to your inner assumption. The feeling is the offering. The feeling is the altar. And when you offer the correct feeling, the fire falls. When you assume the emotion of success, healing, peace, or joy, even in the middle of the opposite, you shift dimensions. You ascend timelines. You rise into the version of reality where that feeling is justified, and you pull it into now. The world cannot argue with a soul that knows its miracle is done. The facts may disagree, but they must eventually obey the deeper truth of your feeling. This is how all great shifts occur, not from the outside in, but from the inside out. And if you say, "But I don't know how to feel something I haven't experienced yet," I tell you, you already do it. Every fear you've ever had was a rehearsal of a future that didn't exist yet. Every time you worried, you were feeling something that hadn't happened as though it were real. So you can feel things ahead of time. You've just been doing it in reverse. Tonight, flip it. Use that same ability to anticipate and project, but this time for good. Create the feeling of victory. Generate the atmosphere of answered prayer. Don't wait to feel grateful. Feel it now. Don't wait to celebrate. Celebrate in advance. That is the true offering that multiplies the loaves and calms the storm. That is the emotional frequency that pulls heaven into you now. And don't fake the feeling, embody it. You don't need to act out a show. You need to find the smallest spark of that emotion within and fan it into a flame. Even if it's just a whisper of peace, let it grow. Even if the joy feels distant, reach for it like a lifeline. These emotions are not fantasies, they are the raw materials of your tomorrow. You are not pretending, you are pre-living, and the more you pre-live the miracle, the faster it must appear, not because you manipulated anything, but because you aligned yourself. Life does not delay what you're truly aligned with. It only waits for your readiness, and your readiness is felt through your emotional state. If you are still waiting, you are not yet feeling it as done, but the moment you do, the shift begins. So tonight, let your heart become the magnet. Let your emotions prophesy your future. Speak with the tone of someone who has already received. Walk with the rhythm of someone who is already free. Rest with the certainty of someone who knows that the blessing is not on the way, it has already arrived in the unseen. You don't need to figure it all out. You don't need to know the steps. You just need to feel the reality of your miracle and trust that life will arrange itself around that vibration. It always does. That is the guarantee. That is the law. You are the thermostat. You set the temperature, and the world adjusts to match it. So tonight, don't ask for the miracle. Become the one who hath already received it. Dwell in that feeling until it becomes your new atmosphere. And when you wake tomorrow, hold that feeling again. Re-enter that state. Walk through your day as the fulfilled version of you. That is how the miracle meets you, not by effort, but by frequency, not by striving, but by alignment, not by waiting, but by feeling. Tonight, the signal you send is the answer you receive. Choose the feeling that reflects your highest truth, and let the miracle come rushing in. Faith is not hoping, faith is knowing. It's done. Faith has been misunderstood by many as a desperate hope, a fragile wish cast into the darkness, hoping someone out there is listening. But real faith, the kind that moves mountains, raises the dead things in your life, and commands miracles into being, is not hoping at all. Faith is knowing. Faith is certainty. Faith is the inner agreement that it's already done, even when nothing outside confirms it. Tonight, if you want the miracle to meet you, you must move beyond emotional pleading and rise into the power of conscious knowing. Faith is not passive. It does not sit back and wait. Faith creates. Faith speaks with authority, walks with confidence, and behaves as if the prayer has already been answered, because it has. Not in the physical yet, but in the spiritual. The blueprint is finished. The miracle is complete in the realm of the unseen. What you are doing tonight is calling it into visibility through your unwavering belief. And this belief cannot be shallow or partial. You cannot say, I believe, while constantly checking for signs, while doubting between prayers, or while allowing fear to sit in the throne of your heart. That is not faith, that is hesitation, and hesitation delays manifestation. But when you stand firm in the knowing that it's already done, when you can rest inwardly, even while the world looks the same, you have entered the vibration of faith. That is the place where miracles come swiftly and surely. Faith is the spiritual technology that collapses time. When you know something is done, your frequency shifts, and you no longer act as the version of yourself who is lacking or waiting. You become the version who has, and from that state the universe has no choice but to bring what matches your inner world. Faith doesn't ask if, it declares when. Faith doesn't wonder how, it simply says yes. And that yes, spoken from your spirit, echoes into eternity and begins to form the people, places, and circumstances that will carry your miracle to your doorstep. But make no mistake, real faith is not always loud. Sometimes it is the quiet resolve in your soul when everything looks broken. It is the stillness that says, even now I believe. It is the whisper of truth in the face of 1,000 lies. And when you choose that whisper, when you agree with what the Spirit has already finished, you override the limitations of your past, your upbringing, your bank account, your diagnosis, and you step into a realm where the impossible becomes normal, because in the realm of faith there is no impossible, there is no delay, there is only what you have fully accepted as true. And here's the deeper secret: you don't need to manufacture faith, you don't need to force yourself into believing through grit or willpower. Faith is natural, but it must be fed. What you repeatedly hear, see, and feel will grow. So if you're struggling to believe, it's not because you're broken, it's because your inner diet has been filled with fear, doubt, and noise. Tonight, change your diet, feed your spirit truth, saturate your mind with visions of the fulfilled promise, Speak only what aligns with the miracle. Faith is not something you beg for, it's something you choose to stand in, even when it doesn't make sense, even when you have every reason to give up. Faith sees beyond the surface. It knows that circumstances are fluid, but spirit is fixed. It knows that what's visible is temporary, but what's true is eternal. Faith gives you the boldness to speak the outcome before you see it, to prepare for the blessing before it arrives, to act like it's yours because it is. This is how miracles are drawn in, not by struggling harder, but by believing better. And that belief must take root in your emotions, your thoughts, your posture, your words, your actions, not in performance, but in authenticity. When faith becomes your inner home, everything around you will eventually reflect it. You don't have to chase it down, it will rise to meet you. That is why the miracle you seek is not on delay, it's on confirmation. It is waiting for you to confirm your belief, to align your internal world with its reality. And once that happens, the law cannot be broken. The moment your faith becomes a settled knowing, the future must bend to accommodate your vibration. You may still have to walk through certain steps, but the outcome is guaranteed, the end is fixed, the promise is sure, because you have already accepted it as done. Faith does not consult evidence, it creates it. It does not look for proof, it becomes the proof. The woman who believes she is already healed will begin to act, speak, and radiate differently, and her body will follow. The man who believes the door is already open will knock with expectation and carry himself with favor. This is not delusion, it is creation. And tonight you are invited to step into this creative authority, to stop begging and start becoming, to stop analyzing and start agreeing. What would you do tonight if you knew the miracle was already yours? How would you feel? What would you say? What would you release? Who would you forgive? What decisions would you make? Do that now. Don't wait for the outer evidence. Let your inner faith lead. That is how spiritual power works. It's not earned by effort, it's unlocked by alignment. And when your spirit says yes, the whole of heaven moves in agreement. The right people are drawn to you, the perfect timing is arranged, the delays dissolve, the no's turn into divine redirection, because the moment you know, everything must flow, and understand faith is not arrogant. It is not shouting to impress others. It is a deep inner conviction that nothing can shake. It is quiet but unmovable. It is peaceful but powerful, and you already have access to it. You were created with this divine faculty, but you must activate it and keep it alive, not through effort, but through repetition of vision. Every day you must re-enter. The state of it is done. No matter what the world says, no matter what shows up or doesn't, you stay planted in the end result. That's where your power is. The outer world may take time to catch up, but it must conform. The harvest is certain if the seed of faith remains unshaken. So tonight, speak from the end, pray from the end, think from the end, feel from the end, and rest, knowing the miracle is no longer a question, it is a conclusion. You don't need signs when you have faith. The signs will come, yes, but they follow belief, not the other way around. You are the cause, not the effect. And when you fully embrace that, you move from powerless to powerful, from waiting to receiving, from hoping to knowing. Faith is not weak. Faith is not soft. Faith is the fire that burns through all impossibility. It is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. And it lives inside you now, waiting to be awakened. So tonight, wake it up. Look beyond what is and declare what must be, and then rest in the stillness of one who knows the promise is kept. The miracle is done. The answer is yes. And all you have to do is believe that it's already yours, because once you know that it must appear, it must unfold, it must obey, the power is already in you. Speak it, walk in it, and receive. The miracle is already here, just surrender and receive. There comes a moment, not marked by thunder or drama, but by an inner stillness when you realize the thing you've been waiting for, praying for, and pleading for is already here. It's not coming, it's not arriving soon, it's here, not because you earned it through effort or because enough time has passed, but because your spirit has finally become still enough to receive it. That is the miracle, and the only barrier left is your own resistance. You see, the miracle isn't late, it isn't being withheld, it's not testing your patience or teasing your heart. It's standing in front of you, waiting for your surrender. But most people are too busy trying to make it happen, trying to fix it, solve it, figure it out, and in that trying, they delay the very thing they are calling for. Because miracles don't come through control, they come through trust. They arrive when your soul opens, not when your intellect wins, and tonight you are invited into that sacred surrender. Surrender not of weakness, but of divine intelligence. A surrender that says, I don't need to force this. I don't need to chase it. I don't need to keep knocking on doors that were never mine. I know the miracle has already been written into the script of my life, and all I need to do now is receive it. But here's the mystery. Receiving isn't passive. It's not lying down and doing nothing. It's an active choice to release resistance, to let go of the mental struggle, to silence the voice that says, what if, and to settle into the vibration that knows it is done. And this act of surrender is the key that opens the floodgates, because once you stop clinging, the miracle can find space to flow. Once you stop rehearsing how hard it's been, how long it's taken, how many times you've been disappointed, you clear the emotional clutter and finally allow the blessing in. Because truthfully, the miracle has always been knocking, but it won't barge through your worry. It will not force itself past your fear. It waits patiently until you quiet your soul enough to hear whisper, you are safe, you are worthy, you are ready, and if you'll listen tonight, you will hear it too. The miracle does not come through a flood of activity, it comes through inner alignment, and surrender is how you align. To surrender is not to give up your vision, it is to trust its timing. It is to believe that what you ask for has already been given, even if your physical eyes have not yet caught up. It is to know that life is always conspiring in your favor, even when the route is not what you expected. Surrender does not mean losing, it means receiving without resistance, and resistance shows up in so many subtle ways: the need to explain, the fear of judgment, the clinging to the past, the habit of worrying, what if it doesn't happen? But surrender gently lays those burdens down and says, even if I don't know how, I trust that it's done. Even if I can't see the way, I believe the way has been made. This is the power that shifts worlds. This is the posture that invites divine acceleration. Because when you stop trying to control the process, you make room for the supernatural. You make room for what's bigger than you. You open yourself up to the mystery of grace, and grace never comes where force is present. Grace flows where trust is alive. That's why tonight is not just another night, it is your turning point, but only if you allow it. Only if you step into the deep knowing that you don't have to fight anymore, that the season of striving has ended, that the path is unfolding beneath your feet with every step you take in faith. And it will the moment you decide to rest in the truth. The miracle is already here. It may be invisible to the eyes, but it is real in spirit. And what is real in spirit is stronger than anything you can touch. The outer world is slow. The inner world is instant. The minute you surrender, your spirit rises to meet the completed thing. And then all that's left is time catching up with your decision. So stop trying to force what only faith can deliver. Stop begging for what is already yours. Stop doubting what has been promised. Let your soul breathe again. Let your heart come back to peace. You are not behind. You are not late. You are not forgotten. You are simply being refined, not for punishment, but for positioning. You are being aligned with the miracle, not because it's hard to receive, but because the blessing is too good to waste on an unready version of you. But tonight, yes, tonight you are ready, ready to stop the inner war, ready to let go of the need to understand every detail, ready to believe that the divine intelligence within you knows exactly how to deliver what's best for you, ready to say, I surrender, and not in defeat but in power, because the one who surrenders is the one who trusts, and the one who trusts always receives. So as you lie down tonight, don't ask for the miracle again, thank it. Thank it as though it hath already happened. Thank it with the full force of joy. Let your gratitude become the evidence of your faith. Let your peace become the proof that you have let go. And from that sacred space, the miracle will rise, the call will come, the shift will happen, the door will open, not because you forced it, but because you aligned with it, because you stopped reaching and started resting, because you knew that what is meant for you cannot miss you, and what is already yours is not being withheld, it is being revealed, slowly, perfectly, in divine order. And now you are in position to receive it. You don't need to do more, you need to allow more. Allow the miracle to find you. Allow the blessing to embrace you. Allow the breakthrough to unfold without your manipulation. That is the real surrender. That is the final letting go that unlocks the floodgates. You are not here to chase anything. You are here to welcome everything that belongs to your highest good, and it will come. It is coming. It is already here, and tonight you are finally ready to receive it. No more forcing, no more waiting, no more doubting. Just one deep breath and one bold decision. I surrender. I believe, I receive, and the miracle obeys.